The following program discusses sensitive issues. Parental caution is advised. Welcome to A Mental Journey, the series where I talk about my mental issues and overcoming them. In this episode, I will talk about anxiety. In the previous episode, I shared about how anxiety in many ways was the trigger for suicidal thoughts, except for a few periods when I was so depressed that I didn't feel anything and thought it would be better for me to just die. But as I examined my life, I did see that anxiety was a big part of the push towards suicide. And I saw that anxiety was especially connected to social pressure, situations that demanded my attention and involvement. I found out that I in many ways would be classified as having a hypersensitive personality, and I came to terms with the fact that I am an introvert. All those findings about my personality helped me to somewhat accept myself instead of kicking against the bricks. I understood that my previous way of handling life, using and stretching myself to fill up all the gaps around me, it was working against my personality. I understood that I am very driven by what I see or hear. If I see a need, I cannot let it be, especially if the need is connected to someone's actual well-being. But in finding this, God gave me assurance that I should see this as a gift. But He also made very clear that He not only wanted to help others through me, He wanted to heal me. As I accepted the fact that I had to heal in order to be able to help others, I slowly started to trust God with the situation. The key here was to accept that if I felt unable to do something, it was okay. God would take care of it. And as I slowly learned to trust that things would be okay even if I couldn't be a part of it, my anxiety slowly started to lose its power. But as I journeyed toward healing, there still remained times when anxiety would explode, and I couldn't understand why it would just spring up seemingly out of nowhere. This is one example when God spoke directly to me. I was laying in bed one day, and I had struggled during the week with outbursts of anger and anxiety, and as a result, panic attacks. I told God that I didn't understand what was triggering me. Family or friends would be talking and socializing with me, and all of a sudden I would feel incredibly angry, nauseous, weak, dizzy, and many times anxiety would kick in, with a faster heartbeat, sweating, chest pain, and heavy breathing. And then, if I was unable to calm down, I would panic, run and hide somewhere, pacing back and forth or getting into a fetal position, hyperventilating and shaking. I simply couldn't understand. I had tried to trace when and where I would be triggered, but nothing clicked. As I asked God, what is the trigger and why? I trusted that He would tell me, because the Bible promises that if we lack wisdom, we can ask our Father who gives freely without reproach. God had given me plenty of evidence that I could trust Him, so I did. And the answer came with straight and direct words, not audible ones, but very clear in my mind. You get triggered when you feel like you are not enough, He said. Everything clicked. Every situation where I would experience anxiety and the results from it passed before me, and it just clicked. Again, I saw that in order to be completely free, I needed to fully trust someone bigger than me. I needed to surrender my weakness and inability to fix everything, including myself. My efforts would never be enough. True healing had to come from the Creator Himself. The Bible promises that God will give us a new heart and a sound mind. God showed me this promise and I held fast to it. And I will talk more about that in the final episode. But before that, I want to share some light on panic attacks and the eating disorder I struggled with, because eating became a way to control my emotions during my anxiety episodes. And when I say that God healed me, for me, it didn't all just go away. It was a process, and I had to learn a lot during the way. And even after God telling me the triggers of my anxiety didn't disappear. I had to learn to surrender my feelings in the triggering situations. Here is the practical application. Whenever I started feeling angry, dizzy, or nauseous in any given triggering situation, I would stop everything and pray, focusing my mind on Him who could heal me, asking for strength, and then thanking Him for already giving me victory. And I tell you, it worked miracles. But it was a learning process to become aware of the signals in time. During that learning process, I still fell into panic attacks and pathological eating habits from time to time. And even as I felt that I started to gain control over the overwhelming sense of not being enough, I was still left with an inability to do life as normal, which leads us to the complexities of my trauma brain in the last episode. So, want to know how that all worked out? Stay tuned. And as always, don't give up. There is hope.